Hello and welcome to the Sunday School classroom. I hope you're having a great Sunday. Well, in today's Bible story, the people are back home. Hooray! And their church is built, their temple, it's all finished. But the people were still sad. Their beautiful church wasn't guarded. The wall around the city was broken down. So they were sad because anybody could just come right in and destroy their temple again. Well, Nehemiah had stayed back in Babylon. Remember, after 70 years, God caused the king's heart to soften. The people were allowed to go back home and rebuild their temple. Nehemiah had a pretty good job back in Babylon, and so he stayed. He was the king's cupbearer. That meant that he made sure that the king's food and drink were safe for the king to eat or drink. Well, one day, Nehemiah's brother came. When Nehemiah's brother came to visit him, of course he wanted to know how things were back home. Well, Nehemiah's brother had some sad news. He said, "Nehemiah, I'm afraid the wall is broken down. Yes, the temple is built, but any enemy could come in and knock it down again. We're not feeling really safe right now." Well, Nehemiah was so sad to hear this news. "Can I see your sad face?" Nehemiah was so sad that when he went to do his job, the king noticed his sad face. And the king said, "Nehemiah, why are you so sad?" Well, Nehemiah told the king that it was because his homeland was not defended. The wall was all broken down. Well, God caused the heart of the king to be softened. And this time, guess what? The king let Nehemiah go home. He said, "Go home, Nehemiah, and help them rebuild the wall." Well, Nehemiah's sad face turned happy, and off he went to see the wall for himself. Sure enough, when he got there, it was all broken down. Oh, what a mess. But Nehemiah told the people, "Let's get to it. Let's start building." And that's just what they did. They just started building that wall. And pretty soon they were making some progress. It was halfway built. But the enemies around them weren't happy. The enemies around them said, "We don't want you to build this wall. We want you to stop." Well, the people decided that they would stop. They were afraid. But this is what Nehemiah told them. In Nehemiah 4:11 in the Bible being God's words, true and trustworthy, it says in chapter 4, verse 20, "Our God will fight for us." Let's say those words together. Our God will fight for us. That is what Nehemiah told the people. So what did the people do? They started building again. With one hand, they built the wall, and with the other hand, they had a sword, and they were fighting off anybody that came to stop them. And you know what? God caused them to be able to build that wall to completion in only 52 days. 52 days. Did you know there are 52 weeks in a year? And a wall around an entire city, to me, seems like it could take about a year to complete or more. When we built our house, it took about 6 months to just build a house. Can you imagine a massive wall around the city? Well, God always does what he says he's going to do. God fought for them. God caused them to be able to finish that wall in record time, 52 days. God is a good God. He always does what he says, and we can trust him. Let's sing a little song together to help us remember that we can trust God. We can trust the Lord our God, Lord our God, Lord our God. We can trust the Lord our God each and every day. Our God will fight for us, fight for us, fight for us. Our God will fight for us each and every day. Well, the people had to watch and work. So we're going to head over to the art table and we're going to make something to help us remember this story. For our craft today, we're going to be making some binoculars. Remember, the people kept working and watching. So we're going to make some binoculars to help us remember that the people watched and worked, and they believed God would take care of them and would fight for them. So you're going to need 2 empty toilet paper rolls, or you could just roll up 2 cylinders of paper. And you're going to need some yarn. And you could use tape if you want to, but I'm going to do this a little different than you might have done before. I'm going to use some yarn. So the thing that I'm going to do first is I'm going to wrap the yarn around the 2 toilet rolls, and I'm going to tie it. And you may need a grown-up for this part to help you get it tied securely so that you can begin. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is just start wrapping the yarn around and around and around and around. You can just keep going and going and going as long as you'd like, really, but definitely until you have a really good layer of yarn around your binoculars. All right, then you can stop and you can cut right there if you'd like to. I'm just going to cut it right there. Then I'm just going to take another piece of yarn and I'm going to let it go through the middle like this. You can kind of see me snaking it through here. And I'm going to tie it right there just so it doesn't come off. Okay. So I think I'm going to cut all these extra strings. All right, so there I have my binoculars. Now, if you want to put a string around it to like make it into a necklace, you can. You could also decorate it with stickers or any other way you'd like. But here we have just a set of binoculars, and parents, be careful if you put the string for the necklace. Make sure it's not a hazard. So I think I'll just leave mine without the string. But there you go. We made a little set of binoculars to help us to remember that the people worked and watched. So here are those binoculars that I made. You could also use different colored yarn. You could go all the way down if you wanted to. So get creative if you like when you make your binoculars. Well, the people watched and worked. They realized that they could trust God. He was going to take care of them and fight for them. I hope you enjoyed this Sunday school lesson, and I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.